Words are a very powerful tool. They can either make us or break us. And sometimes all we need is just a word from someone, a sentence that can give us the courage to take the next step. A few words from a friend gave me the courage to pursue my academics. He gave me the courage I needed, and one statement he made kept ringing in my head. He said, universities does not treat secondary school subjects. They have their own syllabus. I thought about those words for weeks, then I made a bold decision. I remember the family I had met when I went to write my WAEC. One of their sons was already in university at that time, so I contacted him. He was surprised when I told him I had not gained admission to the university. He told me the school is currently admitting students, so I did everything he asked me to do. And one day I received an email saying that I had been given admission. And guess what? This was a school where you needed someone to connect to you, especially when you're not an indigenous student. But God did it. Looking back, I can see that God has always been in my story. And at that time, I had used all my savings to process my admission. All I had left was just my skills and my faith. No parents, no uncle, nobody was there to help me or to sponsor me. It was just me all by myself. Then came another challenge. I could not raise 14,000 registration fee, and without it, I could not move to the next stage of registration. By the time I was able to raise the money, the school administration had closed all registration processes and lectures had begun. Yet, I started attending school lectures, even though my name was not officially in the school record. Crazy, right? I did it because I was walking in faith. I prayed. I told God, this admission was my miracle. I cannot lose it. Then I spoke with one of my classmates about my situation, and she advised that I go see the school registrar. If you have the courage, go and see him, she said. And believe me, at that point, I didn't even care what the outcome would be. I prepared myself and went to the registrar's office. As soon as his secretary saw me carrying a file, she told me to go back, that he was busy. As I turned around to leave, I heard a voice behind me, "Young lady, what do you want?" It was the registrar. I explained my situation to him, trembling. He asked me where I had been and reminded me that registrations and interviews were already closed. I just knelt down and begged, but he insisted that there was nothing he could do. So I picked up my file and was about to leave when he suddenly told his secretary to call me back. So he gave me a signed note and directed me to see someone at the administration office. And that was how God settled me in the university. Once again, God used someone to speak to me, and that conversation changed the course of my life. There is a saying that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. Looking back, I realized that many of the decisions that led to positive results happened because I spoke. I asked, I shared, I refused to hide myself. When we pray, God will always lead us to the right people when we are stuck. My early days in the university were very tough. I mean tough. Very, very challenging. But somehow God always came through for me. I remember one day when the lady I was flirting with asked me to move out, that her boyfriend was coming to visit. I had nowhere to go, but God used this beautiful lady in the same house, who is my sister today, to take me in. She didn't just give me a place to stay. She took care of me. She was incredibly kind to me. God used her in that season until my cooking skills began to pay off. I started a small business and began to save from it after I had paid my school fees and other expenses. And eventually, I was able to rent a good apartment for myself. I remember during examination periods when the school management would send students out of the examination hall for owing school fees. I was never sent out. I never owed. I also remember students coming to me because they wanted to know how I was able to live comfortably as a student. I remember telling one of them what I did and offered to pay her weekly if she could work for me. She agreed and only worked for 3 days because she could not cope. Eventually, I stopped cooking to concentrate on my studies because the business had beginning to affect my studies. And even then, God took care of me. Today, I share this story as a testimony to God's faithfulness, not to boast, not for a pity, and to remind someone that God can take you from a place where you don't know what to do and somehow make a way for you. When I look back at my childhood and the story that brought me here, I can see his fingerprint everywhere. I am still work in progress. God is not done with me yet. But so far he has been true to his word. I will not leave you nor forsake you. These are his promises. And looking at my childhood and the journey that brought me here, I can see his fingerprint everywhere. To connect from part 1 of my childhood story, visit my YouTube channel, the link is in my bio. And if my story has blessed you, if it has encouraged you or reminded you of God's faithfulness, kindly like, share, comment so it could reach someone who needs encouragement. You never know whose heart your share might reach. Someone might be going through a difficult season right now, and all they need is just to hear these words. Thank you all for taking this journey with me. My story is still being written, and God is in the story.